Good evening. It's Wednesday evening. And so, how's everyone doing this Wednesday evening? There's a lot of commotion on YouTube. I was trying to keep up today, couldn't keep up. So, I'm rewatching a couple of things. But hi, Joshua. Howdy. Howdy, Joshua. How are you doing? Hi, Pam. How are you this evening? So, yes, I know that. Hi, Kristen. Julie Jordan Scott's live right now. She's doing her journaling thing, and I know that a lot of my community also watches Scott, and I know that Sally's been live several times today because it's her birthday, so it's been busy. I'm going to try bouncing back and forth a bit. There is a lot going on. Just seems to be. Um, I have never heard of a South Korean theme park called Everland, Joshua. You're making stir fry, Pam? How do you make your stir fry? I usually make like stir fry and refried rice and that sort of thing. Every once in a while, I do that. So, Kristen said, "Yum, Pam." Yeah, I don't cook on Wednesdays. We have fins. We call it fins. And that means you fend for yourself around here. Usually I have leftovers of stuff that, we cooked. So Joshua said you should look it up on your phone and see what it comes up with, Rhonda. I'll have to do that. Beef strips, teriyaki, onions, carrots, celery, and whatever else is rolling around the fridge. You just throw it all in there and just stir fry it all together. Kristen said that's what they're doing tonight. Fins. Fins for yourself. Right? Yeah, that's right. Hello, Mrs. G. How are you doing? Oh, I've had a busy week. I don't know where the weeks go. I mean, they're just flying by. Seems like I just turn around and it's the weekend again. Of course, I went to my school reunion this weekend. We had a great time. There was, I guess, a pretty good number there. Maybe not quite 20, but there were quite a few. And there's a core of us that are almost always at these uh, reunions. So, you know, that always makes it fun. And then we had a few new people. So Mrs. G saying hi to Kristen. So is Joshua. And so Kristen said, I'm doing well. How are you doing today? You found any more out about the exoskeleton? That's kind of an exciting thing. So, hi, Mike. How are you doing? Mrs. G said, Rhonda, you had a good time. I did have a good time and had a good weekend. Um, we floated around in a swimming pool on Saturday afternoon. That was pretty fun. And so Mike said, I'm doing okay, trying to get over a cold. I'm sorry you got a cold. Yeah. Pam says, hello there. Mrs. G, got any recipes to share with the group? Is Mrs. G sharing recipes? She went live. When did you go live, Mrs. G? I saw that, but I was working. I couldn't get on. So, was that today? I saw you sitting out in front of that beautiful pool. I did do a live Friday night. I did a live out by that beautiful pool, and they have a very nice pool. It was, yeah. Josh said I was telling everybody I subscribed to about the Everland theme park. Have you heard of it, Kristen? So Pam said receipts, not recipes. Oh, okay. I'm sure Mrs. G's got some receipts on some people. I'm sure she does. She'll have to report them here. Recipes or receipts. Mrs. G doesn't have recipes or receipts. Christian said, yes, I'm going to get reevaluated on July 22nd. Then they will bring it to North Texas Rehab to start training me in it. And then I will get to bring it home. Wow, Kristen, that's amazing. Mrs. G said, I've been minding my business. That's good. That's good. Kristen said, I haven't heard of that, Joshua. I've not heard of it either. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. But Pam's this is Pam said, that's good, Mrs. G. You stay in your lane now. Mike's saying hello to Mrs. G. Pam's giving some purple hearts. Mrs. G said, Rhonda, did you really believe that? That you're minding your own business? What do you think? I don't think so. You got receipts. Mike saying hello to Pam. Mrs. G saying hello to Mike. So, a lot of chit-chatting going on. Now, Mrs. G, you keeping score? Writing them receipts down, telling on people? Yeah, Pam says, hello, Mike. I'm multitasking. She's listening and cooking. Stir fry. Sounds pretty good. Yep. Joshua said, there's pictures on it, Kristen. Kristen said, Rhonda, in the meantime, I need to start fundraising. I need to pretty much sell everything I own and maybe some organs that I can hopefully live without. Oh, my goodness. Are you going to do a fundraiser? Maybe you should do a motorcycle run. Raise some money. Pam said, Rhonda, I bet you were the youngest one at your reunion by far. Nah, yeah. Kristen said, I'm going to have to do all of that. Yeah? Wow. Well, just get to manifesting that dinero. Miss G, this is Pam. I don't do anything like that. I'm always a quiet church mouse. All right, Mrs. G, I think I need to call you in for a session for delusional thinking. There's some delusional thinking going on up in here in this live. Do you know what delusional thinking is? Joshua said, if you look up a theme park, Everland, Christian, you would see what it looks like. I wished I could see it. So, Kristen says, oh, I am living in gratitude and manifesting and believing. Mrs. G said, no, I'm a changed woman now. So, what event or experience did you have that made this big change, Mrs. G? I'm looking it up, Joshua. We'll see what it looks like. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Well, I can't get a bigger picture. Oh, it's not going to show it very good. That's what it looks like. It's pretty cool. So, yes, it has like colorful flowers, and it looks like there's I don't know. It's got a big roller coaster in the background, and there's a lot of colors and little colorful houses and water, and it's nice, very colorful. Yes, that's Mrs. G said. Um, it's nice, Rhonda, very colorful. Christian said, "Wow, that's really neat. It is so colorful. It looks like a cartoon. It does. It has those lots of nice colors to it. And you can see the big roller coaster in the back. So, and there's water that runs through it. And there's I don't know, it looks pretty cool. Real colorful houses. They're like pink and yellow and some blue, Joshua. Lots of blue. So, pretty cool. That's pretty cool. How do you find out about these things, Joshua? That's pretty cool. So I put in the title of this is why is it so hard to ask for help? Do some of y'all have trouble asking for help? Miss Paula put out a video. Did you see it? And there's a short. So she's kind of popped up. If you look up the Moonlit Magic Parade, you would see something else. So, Kristen said, I do. Yeah, I think, a lot of people struggle with asking for help. And sometimes they'll wait until things are really, really bad before they'll ask for help. Or, yeah, Mrs. G, she put out a video about the nest on her porch, and she had to have done footage over the last month because she went from the baby robin eggs all the way to where they flew the nest, and it took about a month. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And then she did a community post about Rambo that he'd recovered, and then there was a short. So Joshua said, do you like how it looks, Mrs. G? I wish you were there to see it in person. Yeah. So anyway, asking for help, and it's often the people that help others the most are the ones that struggle the most with asking for help. And I know that my mentor I had told me it was because when I help others, I am in control. But when I ask for help, I am not in control. And she said that's the main reason it's hard to ask for help. And I understand that a little better today. I think some of it is pride for me because I don't want somebody to know I don't know how to do this, or that I have gotten myself in this mess and I need help to get out of it. I can get in a mess in a half a second. So, that roller coaster you saw, Rhonda, it's called the T Express. Pretty cool, Mrs. G. It's certain people I don't have any problem asking some people, but there's usually one or two people I don't like asking for help from because I have to give a long lecture before just telling me. That's true. That you know, but you know, I know that when I became director, when I worked over at the facility, there was, man, I didn't have choice. If I was going to learn how to do the, you know, um, systems online, all that new stuff, learn how to do, you know, um, stuff for regulatory stuff. I had to know, and I didn't know, so I had to ask for help to learn how, and that kind of broke me of not asking for help. I had to, when you're forced to ask for help, then you have to. But I'm not saying that it got any easier. There will be some things that would be like, I'm gonna figure this out if it kills me. I'm just going to figure it out until I couldn't. And then I would ask for help. But so Joshua said, if you did Google up Everland Moonlight Parade, Rhonda, you would see everything. All right, I'll have to do that. Don't know that I can do that right now. So I'll have to write it down and look it up, Joshua. Moonlight. And I will look that up and check it out. So anyway, and sometimes when I feel like I need to ask for help, it's easier if I start small and work my way up. I think it's easier when it's some big grandiose thing that, and my hair's on fire. So I got to ask for help. This is Pam. I was just talking about this with a friend who recently received a cancer diagnosis. I worked in her flower beds for a couple of hours. She has a hard time asking for help, feeling so weak. Yeah, it's people that really need help like that are going through stuff. You know, Pam said, and helpless right now. She said, yeah, feeling so weak and helpless right now. Yeah, yeah, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing bad that people need help. All of us at some time in our life have needed help. And Mrs. G said, I know a certain someone who does not ask for help, and then later I get bugged by them. OMG, when they could have just asked someone else, but too much pride. Yeah, Joshua said, Pam, when Rhonda looked up Everland, she said it is colorful. It is colorful, Joshua. But and then um, sometimes some people, if you ask them for help and then they help you, then you owe them, you know, and or like Mrs. G said, you get a lecture, or just left to feel guilty, and it shouldn't be that way. And I think that, like Pam with your friend, you just offer. I know that oftentimes, stuff would be going on with someone, and I tell them, if you need anything, let me know. And I've kind of learned through going through some experiences, like death of a loved one or something like that, that you just show up with the food or with the paper goods. You just show up because people aren't in the wherewithal to say, well, I need this and this and this. And I can remember, and it was one of my classmates that I went to school with that lived in Oklahoma City, and my dad was in the hospital, And she called me and she said, "Is there anything you need?" And I said, would really like to have a Starbucks. And she went to Starbucks and got me a Starbucks and brought it to me. Because I've been up there in that hospital day after day, and that's what I really wanted, one of them Frappuccino Starbucks things. And she went and got it for me. So, yeah. Pam says, "Yep, just show up and bring something or clean something." Yes, and I know my friend Kristen that's on here, when she had her um, motorcycle accident, she couldn't do nothing. And I just stopped by there and see what she needed done, or, do stuff. Um, and she got to where she could ask for help. Um, so, but I think, it's not an easy thing. Um, and for me, it's prideful, but then, like I said, when I ask for help, I'm no longer in control. Uh, Kristen said, "Oh, yes, she was a big help to me." Yeah. So, and when people are in those situations, they need help. And so, okay, that'll be great. Joshua said, "I'm going to mention you in my post when I share the moonlit parade, Rhonda. You will see everything on that float." All right. Then I can describe it to you. Yeah. Christian said, "My grammar is horrible." Your grammar's all right. I misspell stuff and all kinds of things when I'm typing on here, and I'll think, how is that misspelled? And then I have to look it up to spell it right. It's like, oh my goodness. Oh, so, but I think that, and then sometimes people will offer help and you won't take it. So there's a lot of sides to that. Uh, so I think that, but I hear a lot of people talk about that, how hard it is to ask for help. So, what else is going on with y'all? It's kind of summertime. Yeah. What was it? 2 days ago was the first day of summer. And even though we've not had really, really hot temperatures, it is hot because it's humid and we're not used to humidity. So everyone's talking about how hot it is. Heat index of 110. Christian said, "Sometimes I just don't want to bother people asking for help." Yeah. We think we're bothering people, but, you know, most people, I mean, my community, I mean, most of them are very willing to help. So, hey, Kimmy, what you doing? Sometimes I think I'm too much to ask for help. Too much of what? Rosani, hi. Hey there, sitting around. Too much trouble. You're too much trouble? You're not too much trouble. So, welcome in, everybody. So, we're talking about why it's hard to ask for help, but a lot of people struggle with asking for help, and I know that just the last life experiences over the last few years. It's something that I've been forced to do. Kimmy says, my problems sometimes feel so big that asking for help seems like a burden. Yeah, yeah. Christian saying hello, Kimmy. So, my dog's giving me some fits here. But that's, so, but yet, Kimmy, aren't you someone that's just willing to drop everything and help others? Are they being a bother? I think we forget that, you know, that we're that willing. And when someone offers help and we, turn them down, then it's like, we're not allowing them the pleasure or good feelings that you get when you help someone. So I think that we have to remember that allows another person to do things for us. That when you do things for other people, how it makes you feel. You feel good about yourself. You feel useful, or a lot of those things. And when we don't ask for help from others, or we don't receive it, then we're not giving them the gift of being able to do that. So Rosani said, I could hardly get time to myself to gather my thoughts and do the household matters. People were popping by and disturbing me because they didn't come right out and ask me what I needed. Well, and that's some of it. What do you need? And I think that's good to remember that when we're put in those situations, or we know that somebody's going through something, to what is it that you need? And sometimes people, Rosanna, we go through things. I've gone through things to where I didn't know what I needed, just in so much grief that I couldn't function, let alone know what I needed, I did. I saw it on my phone, Joshua. I'll have to look at it when this is over. So, but that's, and it's so funny. During that time, I had a friend that had been through some really heavy grief. She's come over and says, I'm gonna come get you and we're gonna go to lunch. She took me out to eat. And of course I wasn't eating. I didn't have any appetite. And we sat down and we talked and we got lunch and we ate, and she brought me home and she said, now you know how it's done. When someone is in that much grief and they're not eating, you take them out to eat, because when you go out to eat, they're going to eat because they're being polite. They're going to eat something. And I was like, wow. She said, someone did that for me. So it's like, sometimes people don't really understand what it's like to go through something like that. Kimmy said, man, spot on. Grief is the hardest to ask for help with. It is. Well, you're just, deep grief is just, I don't know. I couldn't function. I just couldn't function. And they'd come get me, carry me off, cart me around. It was just whatever. Or I would have just sat there and stared into space. Wasn't eating, wasn't sleeping, wasn't nothing. So, yeah, I got a notification, Joshua. So Rosani said, oh, shoot, the video's breaking up at this end and then repeats. I'll catch the replay, hopefully. Much love to you all. Thanks for hopping in, Rosani. Kimmy said, but that's how I found help with you. Grateful. Thank you. Thank you, Kimmy. I'm glad you uh, commented. I know you said you've been on my lives before, but you never comment. So I'm glad you commented and you're in the chat. But yeah, that's the deepest grief I've ever felt. And I couldn't even cry. I just made this sound. I had a friend told me it's called wailing without tears. I've never felt anything like that, but I lived through it. I thought I wasn't going to. I really thought I wasn't going to, but I did. And it prepared. I know when somebody else is grieving, I don't shrink away from it, and I don't, because I know. And so just face it head on and love them through it. Sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes that's help enough to help someone else. And I didn't have to ask for help then. They just showed up. They showed up. My little group of friends, I think they got together and took watch or something. I don't know. It just seems like that they were there. They were there for me. So, because, people brought some food and stuff, but I just put it in the fridge and didn't eat it. I didn't eat anything. I just couldn't eat. But that friend that took me out to eat, I ate that day. And I've remembered that. You kind of file that stuff in your little bag of tricks and remember it to use with others. Yeah. So, anything else y'all want to talk about this evening? I've been on here 30 minutes. Kind of ran out of stuff to talk about. Christian said, oh my gosh, my friends need to get with you. That just flashed on my head. Kimmy just helped me realize that. It's my son calling me. So I'll have to call him back. Yes. So amazing how you go through things having no idea you will help someone walk through the same thing later in life. That's so true, Kimmy. I think that's why we go through some of this stuff. Because experience is, I don't know. It's the best wisdom you can have. And then you know exactly what to do for someone else. Because you've been there, done that, right? Hi, Miss M. So, I don't know, Kimmy. God has a way of doing that, putting people together right when they need the help that's been through what you've been through. I've had that happen to me so many times. Oh, funny guy he is. Who's a funny guy? And my dogs. I'm not liking. I had to shut the door. God. Oh, he is funny. He's got a great sense of humor, doesn't he? That gentleman, he sure does know. Doesn't he? And, he is still in the business of doing some miracles. So, yeah. But it's, I don't know. I've been really busy lately, but yet it's been good. It's been really good. All right, here's the debut. This is Mr. Scooter. Yeah, he's, I don't know. They're not as settled as they usually are. So my hubby's in a meeting in there. So I had to shut the door. Okay. Pam said, Rhonda, I dearly want to be here, but been checking out Julie's journaling live. Yeah, I know. I have to watch a replay. Kimmy said, I'm going to help a brother this weekend with some of the same things you helped me with in grief. That's great. Yeah, that's Scooter. Pam said, this is such a great topic. It is. It is a great topic. And, I think that I don't know why so many things are happening at once. Isn't that the way it happens? Everything happens at once, I mean, I called my son on Sunday, and he didn't answer, and I left him a message, and he calls me back right when I get in the middle of my life. So I'm surprised there's not someone at the door. That's kind of the way it works. Everything happens. Oh yeah. So well, I can close my live down early, and then everyone can disperse and go, because there's just a lot of stuff going on. Oh, I'll call him back when I get through, Kristen. So he's, I guess, been busy. I don't know. Maybe he forgot that I called. I don't worry about it too much, because I know my kids will get back to me sooner or later. And but like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on, and been trying to. I did make a video. I'm going to try to put it out tomorrow. Pam said, on a serious note, my hubby and I are struggling with my son not working as his mental health is poor. I'm really sorry, Pam. I'll keep you and your husband and son in my prayers. So I just went through that mental health stuff with my husband, and I'm just real grateful. It's kind of like God did a miracle. I don't know. Pam said, I've been thinking about whether we all need to go talk to someone. It's been very depressing and stressful, to be honest. I would encourage you, Pam, yes, to go seek help. That's what we're talking about, to seek help before it gets, really, really bad. And that's important, because a lot of times mental health doesn't just get better on its own. And yeah, but I will pray. Yes. Is Mrs. G back, or you just been in the bushes? I hadn't seen Red. Of course, I haven't been on. We left Friday morning. I was gone till Sunday. Got back. We had to, put our stuff up from the trailer, put the trailer up, unpack stuff. I was tired. And then Monday we had some stuff to go take care of, and because my husband took a test to return to work. He went back to work this week. So, yeah, I've just been really busy. And I did, like I said, I did get a video made and I've got it edited. I'm going to probably post it tomorrow. And then I'm going to start working on some content I want to do some videos about. So, but since he's not been at work, I've not had, Monday. I didn't do my live Monday morning. This next Friday, I got a plumber coming. So I may not get to my live on Friday. It's like, what in the world's going on? My life is like, but I am busy. And I'm grateful that I am busy, and for all the things that, just and the reasons I'm busy is good stuff. So it will slow down and kind of get back into a little more of a regular routine, and YouTube will be here when I get back. It'll be here. But that's what's going on in my life, and I'll have a little bit of a reprieve before the wedding stuff starts. So my son's getting married in September. So anyway, well, thank everyone for joining me this evening, and glad you stopped by, and I appreciate all of you. Love my community, and I'm going to go ahead and end this live a little bit early, and I will go check out your post, Joshua, and maybe y'all see me on Friday. I'll be around these YouTube streets. And remember, be you on purpose.